Happy Monday. It is the beginning of a new week, the second week of June. It is June the 8th. So, curious thing, eights are, that infinity symbol. So, I don't know. Maybe we'll get something that has to do with the 8th. I don't know. I hope everyone survived the weekend and did so in good, positive ways, healthy ways, and know that this week hopefully will be a good one. Let's see what we're going to start the week off with. All right. Okay. The Fool. I'm super excited about this. I'm so excited. I've been hoping The Fool would come up for quite a while now. Side note, I'm reading a book that was recommended to me. It's called Fool. It's by Christopher Moore. I hope that's the right author. It's bright red cover. It's a very interesting book. And I think it kind of goes along with this card. So, yes, one of my other side passions is, of course, books and literary things. So, on that, we'll talk about the journey of the Fool. What's cool about this, I want to go into the image itself first, then we'll get into the little details and stuff about the symbols, because there are at least two symbols that I'm seeing on this one that are not typical of a standard tarot deck. Again, we're using the Sakki-Sakki Tarot deck, and she is very artistically inclined, and it's very kind of abstract looking, and I'm really getting used to it. I like it. So the first thing I want to point out with this card is the background. It is all black. That is not the case in a standard deck, but I really think it speaks to what the meaning of this card is. The Fool is into the great unknown. He is going off on his journey. He knows not where he goes. He knows not what he will come across, but he is definitely going to experience a lot of things and grow. The Fool is the 0 card in the Major Arcana, which is typical in all tarot deck. He is the 0. He is kind of the beginning and the ending of that. So I think that's what that letter is. Yes. Okay, we're going to go into that. The Fool, you can see he's got his little suitcase. In this case, it's a suitcase, which I think is kind of funny because he's got a stick through the handle of the suitcase. Usually, it's kind of the bundle, the traveler's bundle. It's just kind of the kerchief tied up. In this case, she's decided to actually go ahead and have it be a little suitcase. He's on his travels. Usually, he is carrying something in his hand. In this case, it looks like a little flower or something flower-esque. Sometimes it is the Fool's kind of little jack guy. It's the jack-in-the-box sort of Joker's head, Fool's head, if you will, on a pike. And that's sometimes what he's carrying. Sometimes he's carrying one of the wands. It just kind of depends on what tarot deck you're looking at. But in this case, he's carrying this little bundle of flowers. I would love to comment on what kind of flowers they are, but I really can't tell. They're very abstract. They could be a number of different things, and I won't surmise. I will let you, if you ever get this deck, kind of decide for yourself what flower might be something he would carry. The other thing that's always very typical of the Fool is he's got his pet, and usually it's a dog, and in this case, it's kind of dog-like. The dog is sometimes biting the Fool, and other times he's kind of just prancing around at his legs. I always think it's interesting, and in this case, it kind of looks like he's biting at him, because it's almost like the dog is trying to warn him, and the Fool is just whatever. So the dog in other cards has represent our instincts, has represent our natures, and the Fool is ignoring it. So the Fool is often just trying to ignore his human nature, ignore his instinct, and go on blindly through things. He's always standing on a cliff, and in this case, the cliff leads into darkness, into nothing. So that's kind of scary at the same time as being a little bit exciting. The cliff itself is usually represented where the Fool's first foot is kind of just off of it, we don't know, is this a short fall or is it a big long fall and the Fool is about to end poorly? But we never know if he kind of goes, oh, oops, and pulls his foot back, or if he just tumbles off into oblivion and, dies or whatever, has horrible misfortune fall upon him. The Fool is very brightly colored in this one. I think the color choice is really just up to the artist. I don't see anything that's like, oh, he has to be reds and oranges or whatever. I think it's just kind of up to her. She chose something very bright to go against a very dark background. And it suits him. His little tuft on top of his head has kind of got a bunch of different bright colors in it, and his suitcase is kind of bright colored. So in this case, I think it's just the artist's choice of going with something bright against a dark background. So it's aesthetic more than anything else. The Fool is one of my favorite cards because he depicts the journey that we are about to go on. So as a writer, I look at the Fool as the hero. So it's the hero's journey. He begins at home. He begins with just his little stuff on his pack, those few items that he may need just to get by on that first day. And then through his adventures, he grows and becomes something more. And when he gets to the end of the major arcana, the world, the number 22 in the deck, he comes back around. Or 21. There's 22. Sorry, yes, 22 cards. He's 22 again. He comes back around to this. So you have these cards, and he starts and he ends at the same spot. So I want to go into some of the symbols because I'm pretty sure that that symbol is Aleph. And Aleph is the first letter in the Hebrew alphabet. That's where we get alphabet. So it's also the alpha, which is A, of course, or 1. In this case, I think it's kind of depicts the beginning. In scriptures and things like that, you have, the Aleph and the Tav, the Alpha and the Omega, those kinds of things. That is the Fool. I'm kind of surprised in this case that the other symbol, the Tav symbol, or the Omega is not on here, and it's not. What symbol is on here, though, is it Neptune? No, it is not. It is Uranus. So you have the symbol for Uranus on here with the Fool. There is no zodiac symbol with him. So Uranus also is kind of that new beginnings, that unknown. It usually is a symbol for unrest or revolution or change, which I gotta say is pretty timely to be having this card pop up. We are really in a time of revolution and evolution and change and the unknown. We don't know what's gonna happen. What the Fool shows us, though, when you see it in readings and it comes up, what you really want to talk about is the blessings that this could be. While we are innocent and naive and all of these things, we are also growing. We are also becoming something new. Find the positive things in those. Find the ways to grow. I notice sometimes when it comes up in a deck and a spread and somebody has been maybe fighting change, fighting growth, this is a reminder that while it may be troublesome and while it may be difficult and sometimes you get injured because you fall off a cliff, you are growing, you are learning, you are becoming something more. And with the Fool, he goes around and comes back to what he started as, and he can then teach us and teach those who maybe have come behind him into something new and exciting. So I look at the Fool in the deck, in any spread, as hope. He means a lot of hopeful things. Big changes, but exciting things. Adventure is on the horizon. I always look at it that way. I've very rarely looked at the Fool and gone, well, you screwed up. You shouldn't be doing this. Or, yeah, maybe you want to step back a little bit. Usually what I will tell somebody, if the rest of the surrounding cards seem to be kind of indicative of a little bit of a warning or a watch your step sort of thing, I look at the Fool as you have the power to do this. You have the power to survive whatever happens. because that is what the Fool is. He's a survivor. He doesn't need a lot of stuff in his pack. He will find his way, and he will figure something out. And I just want to kind of talk just super briefly about the book because it is really cool that I'm reading a book called The Fool, and the Fool card comes up. The Fool also is unknown in he's a wild card in the sense of he can do anything. You can be anything you want in this story because he is not a numbered card. He is not a character, he is not a king, nor a queen, nor really a peasant. He moves freely between all these levels, so he can do almost anything. And he kind of holds that magic of being able to transmute himself into whatever needs to be. And he's also that depiction of the trickster god, which in almost every mythology you have the trickster god, and he can get away with anything. He can spit in the face of a king, he can uplift a peasant from nothing. He is the trickster. Empower yourself with that, in that don't feel like you are stuck, trapped in the role that you are given. There is always opportunity to step out and do something different. There is always opportunity to step up into a different role and do something a little bit crazy. So take advantage of this energy today. Do something a little different. Do something a little bit fun. Maybe learn something new, and be not afraid to be the Fool. Be not afraid to enjoy yourself in whatever life throws your way. It's going to happen. I tend to say, chaos happens. What we do with it is really what's important. How we push through it is what's important. Chaos is a thing. You're either going to be ruled by it or become kind of its agent in a way. So this is coming from someone who's a bit chaotic anyway. But yes, enjoy. Have a wonderful Monday. I think that's kind of a fun card to start the week off with. And if you're interested in reading, if you're interested in learning more about the tarot, please check out the description and check out my website. Also, if you're interested in reading some really fun books, I've written quite a number, and 3 of them at least are still available on my website, and all of them are available on Amazon. Please check it out. And until then, have a wonderful day.